Okay, welcome back, and now we're working on pandas. So I jumped ahead, and I'm going to retitle this. I'm going to call this Pandas for video, right? And I'm going to import pandas here. So I'm going to do import pandas as PD. I run it, and we're turned on in Python 3. So, and I'm not showing you where we say. I know you're running in a good directory and you're all set. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to read in our well data again. So, right, we call it df for data frame. So data frame equals PD. It's a read CSV, right? And then we can look at our well data. I put in the W using my tabs to complete. I'm going to set my index. I'm going to do is I'm going to set index column. I'm going to do it well ID. I run it, we should be set. I type df, and everything is in. We can look at our data. We see all these parameters. Our indexes are well ID. And the first thing you can always do is you can describe your data, right? And this gives you a nice summary. It gives you the counts, the means, the standard deviation of everything. But I want to do today is I want to spend a little time doing some plots for us and also some for loops. So we're going to need some of these in class. So one of the easy ways you can for loop pandas frames, you can just actually for loop over. So if you say for I in df print I, it's nice. It knows to go through the columns. So, right, so this way you can go through a data frame column by column and do analyses on it. Right? So we could then just step through and look at some stuff in every column. So that works out really nice. Right, and if you only want to do some columns, you could go back up here and you can put your, we can do it just by iloc, and you say I'm going to get all my rows, but I'm going to choose columns 5 to 10, and that's right, and there we go. We could probably even do every other. So you can choose your columns that you want. So that's how you can, or you can go 5 to the end. So right, you can do your for loops, you can choose your columns, you can print it. So that's a nice thing about pandas. It's very easy to work through. But then let's work on making a scatter plot. And I'm going to make it sort of automated. So I'm going to set, we know I, I'm going to set I equal to something I want to plot, arsenic. Right, this will make life a little bit easier. Then I'm going to turn on my scatter, my fig comma ax, right, to turn on my plot. Right, so I'm turning it on now. So we have that on. And then I'm going to do my scatter, ax.scatter. Right, and I can do df. Remember, we want to do x, we want it to be arsenic, so I'm going to do df of I, and I'm going to do df.depth. Right, we can see. And now let's see if it plots. Right, and then we have our nice plot. But again, we're saying we want to do a few things. First, we have depth on the y-axis, and we always reverse that. So I made you all look it up, and right, and we want to flip it. So we do set ylim. That's an array. I'm going to go from 250 to 0. Right, that should flip it. Right now it's looking good. And then also the other thing I want to do is I want to add some labels. So I could do ax.set y label. Right, and that's going to be depth in feet. And then we can also do ax.set x label. And that's going to be arsenic in parts per billion. We run it, it looks nice. The one thing I actually don't like this plot being so wide, especially for a depth plot. So up here you can actually change your size to do fig.set. Then I always remember set size inches. Then we can plot, try 8 by 8. This should make it square. We don't need it so big. Let me try 4 by 4, so you have everything zoomed in. There it goes. Right, and you could always make it a little bit narrower if we wanted. Let's see if 4 by 3 does it. Oh, that was the wrong one. So actually we want 3 by 4. Let's see how that looks. There it goes, a little bit narrower. Now that looks like a nice depth plot. It's labeled, has the axes the right way. We are set to go. Now the nice thing is with this I up here, right, you don't have to, if you ever wanted to change anything, you could plot whatever you want. Here's calcium. Right, there's our calcium plot. So that's a nice way to change it. Oh, but what happened to our label? but we could have it update that also. So right, we could actually just have it plot. We could put I in here. It doesn't give us our units, but at least it gives us a good start. We'll work on units and making it fancier later. But let me go back to arsenic. There's arsenic. Okay, looking nice for depth and arsenic. That's a good way to go. So the next thing I want to show you how to do is actually how to do multiple plots. We've always done fig and ax with subplots, but what happens if we want to make more than one plot? So let's try this again. Let's do fig, comma, ax equals plt.subplots. But we actually can put more than one in here. So say we want 1 row and 3 columns. It gives us 3 plots. Right? You can actually see what happens if we just put a 3 in. It puts them 3 vertically, but that's really the same as 3, 1. And I like to be a little explicit. So you can have stack them 3 vertically. You can also make more than that. You can make something like 2 by 2 if you want squares, 3 by 3. So look at all these plots we can make. But let's go back and see what would happen if we want to make 1 by 3, plot them next to each other. So now what we're going to do is we're going to plot our arsenic data again. So I'm going to go up here. I'm going to grab or copy it, make my life simple. Ax.scatter, right? See if it works. But we get an error. It doesn't know where to put it. So what happened is now that we're making 3 plots, this ax actually becomes an array. So let's just go type ax. And if you look, it's an array of 3 plots. So if you want to put it in the first plot, you'd have to tell it to put it in array spot 0. So what you do is you go back here and you go ax 0, right? And it puts it in the first one. But let's go up here. We can get our other parameters, and we're going to make this look nice. Right, but that's going to give us an error. So let's put in 0, 0, 0. Right? And now we have a pretty nice plot. But you know, the next trick you can do, since what we're trying to do is we're trying to line up our y values. If you come up here, you put in a keyword share y equals true, and it makes all the y values line up. So everything will always be lined up for you. So right, so now what you could do, say you want to plot this in this is the 0 plot, 1 plot, 2 plot. So we want to put it in the second one. So we're going to put it in 1. We're going to change all of our to 1s. But you'll see, look, and it moved it over 1. But the weird thing is we actually don't want our label over there. So we'll put our label, keep our label in 0. Oh, wrong one. Let's keep the y label in 0. This one in 1. Now it's arsenic. It's in the second one. The depth is there. It's looking much nicer. So that's like a nice looking plot now. So it's nice to see how you can do this. And the next thing, which you're going to, this is a look ahead. Imagine you made it 2 by 2. We're going to look ahead on this. Let's see what happens. We get an error. So why was this error? Because when it's 2 by 2, if you run it, it makes a 2 by 2 array. So you actually have to go back up here and add a 2-dimensional array. So let's make this. So now we're saying we're going to put everything at 0, 1. So let's see where this puts it up. So there you go. See, now you could choose where you want it in each of your 4 plots by a 2-dimensional array. So you're going to, and then the final thing I want to do is you could actually save this fig. So you could do fig.save fig, give it a name, my great plot. I'm going to do it a JPEG. And it's now saved on your computer as a JPEG. You can go open it up, email it, etc. So you're going to we're going to work on making these nice plots. We're going to be lining up our multiple plots next to each other, and you'll be going much further in Pandas.